The story opens in a city already in ruins. Buildings have collapsed, fire and smoke fill the streets, and terrified people scream as explosions tear through the night. Whatever happened here was sudden, violent, and completely out of control. Linfan watches the chaos unfold, sweat running down his face. He knows the situation is bad and that he needs to move quickly. But before panic can take over, the tension abruptly breaks. Standing calmly on his balcony, Linfan complains that his coffee is too bitter and thinks it needs more sugar. While zombies roar below and the city burns, he remains completely unfazed. For him, this outbreak feels no different from an ordinary day. Inside the room, his laptop is still running and online RPG voices shout through his headset as teammates panic about people turning into zombies and getting bitten. Linfan calmly takes a sip of coffee, treating the chaos like background noise. He casually asks a teammate if his girlfriend is nearby, even warning him that she's about to bite him. The teammate freezes and jokingly asks if Linfan is some kind of prophet. His girlfriend really is standing there, and for a moment nothing happens. Then the truth becomes horrifyingly clear. She suddenly lunges forward, eyes glowing red and teeth exposed. She had already been bitten and turned into a zombie. Linfan was right all along. Someone shouts in panic through the headset, but Linfan ignores it. Focused on the game, he calmly tells his team to push the tower and finish the round. The match ends in victory, and Linfan comments with satisfaction that there were no useless teammates this time, even as the world outside continues to collapse. A loud knock suddenly interrupts everything. It's his neighbor, Wei Wei, begging him to open the door. Linfan opens it and finds her shaken and terrified. She explains that zombies are attacking people and that she lost her keys while running. With nowhere else to go, she begs him to let her hide inside. Linfan pauses briefly, then agrees, but only on one condition. He tells her to close. Wei Wei thanks him and promises to do anything he asks. In the next instant, a blade flashes. Linfan strikes without hesitation, and her body collapses to the floor. A system window appears, awarding 1 point for killing a normal zombie. The message confirms the truth. Wei Wei had already turned. Linfan reflects quietly. He was once just an ordinary architect dragged into the apocalypse by a single accident. A glowing interface appeared, connecting him to the zombie apocalypse survival system. Reviewing his stats, Linfan realizes that zombies really do drop points. Another strange zombie appears nearby, feeding on a corpse. It lunges toward Linfan, but one clean slash ends it instantly, earning another point. Later, Linfan stands exhausted among dead zombies, muttering that neighbors should help each other. Then he notices something wrong. Wei Wei's body is gone, leaving only bloodstains behind. As he processes this, a shadowy figure appears at the end, sitting silently in a wheelchair. When it comes into view, the truth is revealed. Its back is swollen with clusters of staring eyes and writhing tentacles. This isn't just another zombie. The wheelchair zombie suddenly lunged toward Linfan with a single clean slash. Linfan cut off the zombie's head. The blade flashed and the head flew into the air. After killing the zombie, Linfan looked at the wheelchair and spoke lightly, almost mockingly. He joked that the zombie had gone through all that trouble just to deliver a wheelchair. Thanking it for the convenience, Linfan decided it would be much easier to move the bodies now. He pushed the wheelchair along, dragging the zombie corpses away. Later, as promised, he returned the wheelchair. Standing near the dumped pile of bodies, Linfan stared at them quietly. He reflected that the world had truly ended, and if he wanted to survive, he would need to gather supplies. Then a strangely serious question crossed his mind, whether these bodies counted as wet trash or recyclable trash. Even in the apocalypse, his strange sense of humor remained intact. At that moment, Linfan sensed something and turned his head. Someone was calling him. Looking up, he saw a man standing on a balcony, the son of Uncle Joe. The man smiled and waved. Linfan recognized him instantly. This was the bully who used to steal his bike, force him to call the police, and beat him even after returning it. Linfan calmly asked if something was wrong. The bald man was shocked by Linfan's casual attitude and thought he wasn't even afraid of attracting zombies. To him, this was good news. Linfan looked like an idiot. Perfect to be used, starving and desperate, The bald man wrote instructions, ordering Lin Fan to bring him food and drinks. Lin Fan refused outright. The bald man hadn't expected that response. After calming himself, he tried again, promising to let Lin Fan live with him and later take him to a secret base. Once again, Lin Fan refused. Furious, the bald man cursed him in his mind. Enraged, he threw kitchen bowls down from the balcony, smashing them loudly on the ground and attracting a horde of zombies. From above, the bald man laughed and mocked Lin Fan, saying his legs were stiff with fear. But Lin Fan calmly swung his butcher knife. A zombie's head flew off. With each kill, the system rewarded him with points. The bald man watched in shock as Lin Fan killed all the zombies except one. Sneering, he claimed Lin Fan would still die. Lin Fan lifted the, stating that he had a reason for keeping it alive. Shouting that the last zombie was a gift, Lin Fan threw it toward the balcony like a volleyball. The bald man caught it in panic, holding the zombie like a bride as they stared at each other awkwardly. Without waiting for the outcome, Lin Fan waved and rode away on his bike. He soon reached a supermarket, gathered supplies, and left when he saw the cashier was already a zombie. Riding away, Lin Fan thought the supplies would last a while, but he'd need seeds, land, and a better weapon. Suddenly, a loud horn blasted. Lin Fan turned to see a truck racing toward him, followed by a massive horde of zombies drawn by the noise. As the truck comes closer to Lin Fan, a sudden memory flashes through his mind. He remembers himself as a child, sitting in a car with his father and another woman who was clearly not his mother. The woman was yelling, saying Lin Fan should be thrown out since his mother was already dead, and that just looking at the kid made her sick. She even said she would find someone else to take him in. Lin Fan, sitting in the back seat, cried while hugging his teddy bear tightly, thinking that his mother was gone forever and that even his aunt didn't want him. In his heart, he begged his mother to save him. Furious, the woman shouted at him to stop crying, threatening to beat him and even kill him. Suddenly, she grabbed the steering wheel, screaming to pull over and teach the brat a lesson. A truck appeared in their path. The car and truck crashed violently. Cutting back to the present, the truck driver slows down and mockingly asks Lin Fan if he wants to get in. Laughing, he says that if they don't take him, Lin Fan can just wait to have his guts ripped out by zombies. Inside the truck, a kid argues with the driver, reminding him that their teacher told them to help others. Annoyed, the driver suddenly pulls out a knife, declaring that since the teacher is dead, everyone is now at his mercy. The truck drives away. In the mirror, the driver sees Lin Fan still standing there, holding a kitchen knife, and thinks he's an idiot for facing zombies alone. Back on the street, Lin Fan stands motionless, repeating to himself, "I won't die." He remembers his mother's words from childhood, that when he grew up to be brave, bright, and kind, she would appear before him again. Rage and resolve surge as he grips his knife and throws it with all his strength. The knife pierces the truck's tire. The vehicle crashes violently, throwing the driver out. Badly injured and bleeding, the driver begs for help, apologizing and saying he doesn't want to die. Lin Fan coldly replies that the driver wasn't wrong about someone dying. He was just wrong about who. Smiling, Lin Fan tells him his friend has come to find him. Now, turned into a monster appears, surrounded by zombies. The driver screams as they tear him apart. Lin Fan rides on calmly as the system window updates his stats. Soon, a woman shouts from an apartment window, holding her small daughter. She asks how Lin Fan survived and begs for a little food, explaining her husband is dead and her child is starving. Lin Fan cheerfully offers to sell her 2 pumpkins and a watermelon. Though grateful, the woman wonders if money still has any value. Lin Fan notices a sword hanging behind her. She explains it was her husband's replica weapon from a game and insists Lin Fan take it. Saying he needs it more stunned, Lin Fan thanks them, promises not to take it for free, and tells them to call him if anything happens. As he leaves, he realizes the replica is Frostmourne, something he once admired online. Holding it now, he admits it feels, but suddenly, a woman falls from above. Lin Fan turns just in time to see her body crash down in front of him. She is already dead, bloodied, broken, and lifeless. Lin Fan stands frozen in shock, staring at the corpse. The man leaned over the balcony with a twisted grin, cursing angrily. He called the woman a stinking bitch, complaining that he had been teaching her a lesson for so long. Yet she still dared to resist. He lit another cigarette and sighed irritably, muttering about bad luck and lamenting that such high-quality goods were wasted. Who knew when he'd find someone like her again? Below, Lin Fan stood frozen, staring at the broken body. Bruises, cuts, scars layered over scars covered her skin. It was obvious she had suffered countless torments. Then Lin Fan noticed her eyes, despair, anger, helplessness. That look struck something deep inside him. It was the exact same look his father once had, back when his mother. Lin Fan clenched his fist and looked up. Calmly, coldly, he asked why the man would do something like this. The man stared down in surprise, shocked that someone was still alive. Snorting arrogantly, he declared the building was his territory. Any woman inside belonged to him, and he could do whatever he wanted. Lin Fan's expression darkened. If he did nothing now, the mother and daughter upstairs would be next. Gripping his sword, Lin Fan climbed straight to the 5th floor. The man sneered when he saw Lin Fan carrying the woman's body, mocking him and calling him an idiot. He threatened Lin Fan, telling him to get lost before he lost his temper. Turning away, the man cracked open a can, cursing that even at the end of the world he still had to deal with idiots. Suddenly someone knocked, annoyed. The man grabbed his weapon, hoping it wasn't a zombie. Checking the door camera, he froze. On the screen was a bloodied, lifeless girl's face. Stumbling back in terror, he soon realized it was Lin Fan again. Relief turned into cruelty. He threatened Lin Fan, planning to shout and attract zombies so Lin Fan would be torn apart alive. The reinforced door exploded inward. From a single kick, the man froze in disbelief. That was a reinforced door. Yet Lin Fan had smashed it open, bare-legged. Inside, Lin Fan scanned the room. Ropes, chains, tools. Quietly, he said, this was how the man tortured her. Furious, the man screamed that this was his place. Lin Fan gently laid the woman down and spoke with iron, saying he brought her so she could witness the price the man was about to pay. The scene shifted outside a police station. The man struggled desperately, gagged and terrified, screaming for Lin Fan to let him go. Dragging him along, Lin Fan replied calmly that he was bringing a criminal to face punishment. The man ranted about the apocalypse and zombie movies. Lin Fan stopped him, coldly explaining the difference between fiction and reality, then slapped him and threw him through the police. Trembling on the ground, the man screamed that the world had ended and no one could judge him anymore. Lin Fan smiled softly and said he was wrong. There was someone behind the man. Red eyes began to glow. Zombies rushed him all at once, tearing him apart as his screams echoed through the night. The freedom he bragged about ended there. This time, judgment came from the next day, at Huang City Library, a group of survivors arrived in an armored vehicle. They were ordered to gear up and never split up. If there were too many zombies inside, they would retreat immediately. And above all, avoid making noise. The leader reminded everyone this mission had only one goal: find medical books. Nothing else mattered. The team acknowledged her order. At the entrance, one man checked the door and reported that their luck seemed good. There were no zombies inside. Just as they were about to move in, the boss lady told everyone to wait. She stepped forward herself, knife drawn, carefully checking the surroundings. Afterward, a soldier teased that she was being overly cautious. She shut him down at once, opened the door, and ordered everyone to move in and search the medical. Suddenly, Lin Fan appeared, casually waving and greeting them with a cheerful "Hi." The group froze in shock. The boss lady and her men panicked, called a zombie talk. Lin Fan quickly told them to calm down, explaining that he was a real human, not a zombie. When they demanded to know what he was doing there, Lin Fan replied calmly that he was reading books. After all, it was a library. One man whispered to the boss lady that Lin Fan had a point, but she shut him up instantly. Lin Fan raised his hand apologetically, saying he meant no harm and telling them to keep their voices down. As he walked away, the group whispered among themselves. One noticed the sword on his back looked like something from an online game. Another wondered if this was a trap. The boss lady ordered everyone to stay quiet, and watching Lin Fan read alone, the boss lady felt uneasy. Something about him felt dangerous. Deciding it was best to leave quickly, she ordered the team to grab the books and go. After they finished packing, Lin Fan suddenly told them to wait. Confused, they turned back. Linfen pointed out that they were taking many books, and anything borrowed from a library needed to be registered. One man snapped, asking if Linfen had lost his mind, and whether he even understood the situation. The boss lady asked him directly if he knew what was happening outside. Linfen replied calmly that he did. There was an apocalypse and zombies. But aside from that, not much had really changed. Smiling, he told them to relax and casually gave them his address. If they were ever in danger, they could find him there. They ran. As they fled, one of them muttered that Linfen was definitely crazy. Linfen watched them go, scratching his head and wondering why they left so fast without even giving their names. Shrugging, he returned to his seat. If he wanted to be self-sufficient with food, he needed to keep studying farming while he still had time. Meanwhile, deep underground in a hidden research base somewhere in the desert, scientists moved through sterile corridors. Tests showed that the cellular activity inside zombies was increasing every day. Someone asked the terrifying question, were the zombies evolving? Inside a lab, researchers experimented on a grotesque specimen and discussed developing an antibody. The old man said it was impossible. These viruses were unlike anything humanity had ever seen. Then he asked, "Are you familiar with zombie genes?" As the implication hit, silence filled the room. This apocalypse was no longer just a disease. It was something far worse.